Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world. This is the world of Wayne. Today we're going to be doing the next, I'm going to put this down in a minute, 5 stages of the Deagostini Collectibles release and build the 1/6 scale Mustang. I've had to put it down behind me. Oh my God, that thing is so heavy. We are going to be doing stages, let me see, 84 to 88 today. Got them all here. One stage is going to be really hard. The other shouldn't be too bad, but we're going to be doing the steering wheel, putting the electrics in the steering wheel as well. In history of doing Mustangs on this channel, that's normally really hard, so we'll have to see how that goes. Now, I don't know if this is still available. I'm hoping if it isn't, it comes back, because this is an amazing build, but it is, if I can just move here, absolutely ginormous vehicle there. Pretty crazy, huh? I have put a link in the video description. There's also that QR code on the screen, but I'm getting myself in all sorts of knots today, so I think I'm going to jump straight into it. Without further ado, let's get cracking. Okay, so I believe it's stage 84, which is going to be the one that we're going to have a bit of a struggle with. As you can see, we've got the electrics here to put into the steering wheel. We're going to create the steering wheel, and then I do believe we are going to be putting that into the car. So, going to be quite interesting. We'll see how this goes. This is the rest of the magazine. Okay, so everything I need is in here, and this is the first time that we've seen the steering wheel now. And I'm hoping this might be able to give you an idea again. Oh my God, did you hear how heavy that was when it dropped? Of size, because it's ginormous. Now the steering wheel is solid metal, but that is the size of it. But first thing I need is this carriage just here, which is going to be holding the switches. Now the first switch I need is going to be number 5. And these switches are going to go into, I'm going to zoom up my top camera here. They're going to be going into this carriage this way round. So number 5 is going to go in here. And I'm just going to push that into position. Now I want it to sit in there just like that. Then I'm going to be taking the switch for number 6 and putting that next to it here. And making sure it's quite tight up against that lug. There we go. Now they should hold themselves in. But what I'm going to do is turn that upside down now and then take switch 7 and do exactly the same thing on the other way here. So this is going to go in this side. See what I mean about this being fiddly now? So I've got one switch this side and I've got 2 switches that side. I'm just going to put that gently to one side and bring over this part of the steering column. Now in this part of the steering column, I've got this stalk here, which is going to be going on the lug, just here. There you go. And that's able to operate those 2 switches when they're in there, as you can see, by those points there. That also means that I'm going to need one on the other side, which I'll just slide in here. And then that's going to be able to operate the switch on that side. So basically these 2 stalks here are going to operate 3 switches. And for that reason, I now need to drop these switches into place. So I really don't want anything falling out, but I'm going to be putting them in this way. And I'm going to line these up over those lugs where we put the stalks. So one's in there and one's in there. Make sure they're all lined up. Now, before I put this in, I just want to make sure that this operates those switches, which it does. We should hear a click as I'm moving these. That's good. And this one. Perfect. Now, I've got this PS12 screw here. And this is a tiny screw. It's just going to go into the hole just here. And that should hopefully keep this in place. So that's locked in. I'm crazy about this. I just want to make sure that they're still going to operate. They're operating perfectly. Okay. Now, on this side of the steering column, I've got one more switch left, which is button 8. That's going to go in the top here, but it's actually going to sort of fold in. So the way I want to put this in is put this in from that way and then fold the cable down there, because I want this to be at a 90-degree angle. So as you can see, that's in like that. Now I'm going to be putting both of these parts together. So what I'm going to have to do is bend all of these wires here down, just like that on that side. Then I'm going to be piecing it together with the one just on this side, making sure that the fixing points here aren't going to be impeded by these wires. So I'll put the top one in first. And perfect, that is in. Absolutely lovely. Oh, I've got one pitch wire. There we go, that's in. Okay, excellent. Right, I need to hold this together with two PS05 screws. Got them here. So first one's going to go into this hole. And I'm pretty confident I didn't trap any wires in there. So that's going to hold that front part in. And then just checking this one down here with a PS05 screw. So now that's all together. And I should now still be able to operate this. 1, 2, 3. They're all clicking. That's perfect. Okay, just put that to one side. And now I'm going to be creating the steering wheel here, which basically means, as you see, we do have a D-shaped pattern in there for this steering rod to go in. That's got a bladed section here, so what I need to do is put that into this section here. Now normally this is a tight fit, so what I tend to do is put it in a little bit of oil, just like that, and then I'm gently knocking it with my hammer here. And there you go, that's nice and flush in there, as you can see. I'm not going to lie, that did take some sanding and stuff just to get that into position. You do want to make sure that that's going to be perfectly square there, so when I'm turning it, there shouldn't be a wobble on the steering wheel. So I am just making some micro adjustments here. I think we're good there. Now, once I've done that, I'm going to take this steering wheel cap here. I'm going to be putting that into position, making sure it's round the right way, so it gets pushed into here just like this. And it clips in like that. Okay, I've got the steering column connector here looking like this. I'm going to be putting this down the shaft here. Now I don't know which way round it goes. Stand by. This is going to be joining these two sections up here. So I'm guessing it's going to be going, I'll try that way round first. Let's have a look how that fits. Ah, there you go. So that's basically making a flat section in there now. So it does fit that way round. Okay. And then that means I now need to put this steering column through here, knowing that I've got some wires in there, which is going to try and impede this. But if I give it wiggles, just like this, it will go through. There we go. And that is in position like that. And it is able to turn, as you can see. That was easier than I thought it was going to be. Perhaps because it's so much bigger, that's why I've made it a little bit easier. Okay, I need to bring over the floor pan. And as you remember, that looks just like this. Now, I'm going to be putting the steering wheel in this way round, so this lug is up under here. So it's coming out of this side. I want all the wires to come out with it. Probably best to actually feed the wires out first. And then probably best, I don't know if you'll be able to see this on the top camera, I'm hoping you can, so that I'm lining up that hole just there with the top. See all of these cables here. Oops, let's just get this one in. I've pretty much just got every cable coming out of here. But that's now in place just there. I've got a cap just to put on top of that here, which looks like this. And rotate it round so that cap's now fitting flat. And then I'm holding that in with a PS05 screw. And that's going to keep this steering column in place, just like that. And as you can see, it's still able to turn. And just check that this is able to operate up, down, perfect, and down. Excellent. So that's all operating perfectly. Let's keep that nice and straight. And that is all there is to do in that stage. That was very difficult. So I'm sure from stage 85 they're going to go easy on me now. So let's see what we've got to do. And as you can see, we're starting to build the radiator. So this is going to be easy. As a matter of fact, I'm probably going to bundle these stages together, because I think for the next 3 stages we are just putting the radiator together. So this is stage 85. 85. Then we've got 86 here. Looking like that. Which is just the fan and surround going on top of the radiator. And then that finally means that in issue 87 we're going to be finishing the radiator. Now I do know that in issue 88 we're going to start the air filter, so that's why I think it's good that we bundle these 3 together here. Just looking like that. I don't think we get to install this yet. We're just creating it, as you can see. This is the rest of the magazine. Okay, so starting with stage 85, we should be able to whiz through these 3 stages. It's basically just 3 pieces, and this is actually just going to be fitting on top here, orientating it correctly so that it's fitting perfectly in there, just like that. And that's all we're basically doing in that stage. So let me just put that to one side. Now you can see while I bundled these together here. Get this one out. And what I'm going to do on this one, take this part and this part that we had from the last stage. And if you see, we've got 4 lugs just in the middle. We're going to go into the 4 holes of this way round. So it's just a case of pushing it down and making sure that they're pushed into here. It's going to take some pushing, but they're in. Then this is going to be going on what we've just created here. This needs to be in this way round, so that hole in the middle lines up, which will then enable me to push this in this way here, like that. Now I'm holding that in from the other side with a PS05 screw. Get that in nice and tight. So now that's attached. Then I'm just going to be putting this section here, the surround for the fan, just over the top here, like that. Now I'm just going to check again if this has gone away. It looks symmetrical to me, so I'm guessing it doesn't matter. Now we just leave that loose for a second because there's no way to fix that yet. We're going to be doing that in the next stage, which I've got here, stage 87. Once again, I've got this part of the radiator here and a grill to put over the top, making sure I've lined up these holes perfectly on there, which I have. Now they're going to be held in now with PS24 screws, and I need those in the 4 corners here. So that's looking like that. Just put that to one side because I'm going to be putting the pipe here into the cap, just onto this nipple here. It is a tight fit, so that goes in like that there. Now this is going to go onto the top of the radiator, keyhole pattern, so it can only go in one way. Just like that. Turn it over, and once again, held in with one of these PS05 screws. Now I want to take what we created in the stage before. We're going to be putting this in place. It's just going to go over the top of these 2 lugs on this side. Can only go in one way round because they are different size lugs. But we do want to make sure that they are pushed all the way down. So they are in just like that. That will then enable me to put this side on, which is just going to go onto the other side and then push that together. And as you can see, it makes these holes come up through here. Put the surround back on, just like that. And then holding all of that together, once again with the PS05 screws. Just in the 4 places here, so I'll get all 4 of these in the corners. This is the last screw going in here. That's the radiator completed. So obviously this fan can turn like that, but that is how it looks. That's all there is to do in that stage. So that means in stage 88, this is the last stage of this pack, we are going to be be doing the air filter, and that's looking just like this. A little bit tricky because we've got a metal plate that we've got to wrap around here to give the effect of the air filter, and I've got to bring over the top engine block, we haven't seen that for a while, to attach this, I'm guessing. So this is the rest of the magazine. I don't actually think we're attaching the air filter. I do think we are putting some pipes just on top of the cylinder head there. So let's get all this out. Okay, the first piece I need looks just like this. I'm going to lay this down. Let's get the right way round, this way round. And I've got some details to put in here first. So first thing I've got is these air valves here. Now these have keyhole patterns which are going to be fitting into this section just here and a lug. So I can actually put these both in, and because there is a locating lug on them, it should hold them into place for me just like that. I am holding these in from the other side though with PSO2 screws. So these are silver screws here. That's one there. And one this side. Now I've got to attach this air tube here. Now this has got a keyhole pattern as well, which just goes into that point just there. And once again, a PSO2 screw to hold that in from the other side. Excellent. Now the slightly tricky bit, we've got this metal strip that I mentioned, which is going to give the grill effect. Now the good thing about this is, as you can see, it has got some tabs at the bottom, which is going to help us locate this. So what I want to do is have it this way round, and I'm going to start this off in the hole just there. And to hold this into place, we've got some tabs at the bottom. See, they're coming out. I just want to bend them in, so that will hold what I've just created into place. But we're not going to be able to do that until we've got a few of these in. So I'm just going to go around inserting these in and ensuring it's fitting in that groove there. So just looking at that all the way around, we're almost good. There you go. That is how that should look. Ha! Pretty impressive. Okay then, I'm putting this part on, which is just going to go into the middle there, which is going to give a great effect around the side. That's looking good. And then finally, we get to put the top on with a locating lug in there. Ensuring this is fitting flush all the way around. That's looking good. And I'm holding that in from the bottom here with a PSO2 screw. And there we go. That is the air filter in place. That looks really good. Very detailed. Love it. Okay, put that to one side. I'm going to bring over something we haven't seen for a while, which is the engine block. I can't remember the last time we actually saw this. Look, massive thing this is, but we're going to be putting some details in here. So first detail we're going to put in looks like this. It's going to go this way round, just into the hole there. And it's going to be held in with a DSO1 screw, which I've got in the bag here. Now, this is a metal screw, so a bit of oil, and get this into position just there. Perfect. Then I have this bracket to put in here, looking like that. That's just going to go into this point just there, which, as you can see, leaves a hole again for a DSO1 screw. I've then got a rod which is going to fit into the hole just there, and then it enables that screw hole there to be open, and you've guessed it, a DSO1 screw. And then finally I'm just going to link this spring here to these 2 points just here. So this one will be going down there. And the other one is going to go into the hole just here. Now I'm going to need my tweezers to help me with this, and my magnifying glasses. And what you want to do is sort of bend the spring around so you can hook that in just like that. And with that and that in place, that's all there is to do in that stage. That's all there is to do in that pack. So I think the fact of the matter is that this is a 1/6 scale build, and that's what's making things a little bit easier. I think I would have really struggled with that as a 1/8 scale, but you can see this is the engine. It's almost as big as my head, and obviously we created the radiator as well, And we put that really hard steering wheel in, but the steering wheel's in stock now. In stock, the steering wheel's inside. It is going to be able to operate those wheels. But I really hope you liked that video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Other than that, take care.